Welcome to the SVG-TV news for Thursday, June 23rd. With the details, I am Khalil Kato. Education Minister Curtis King says that St. Vincent and the Grenadines will soon see a massive transformation in the education system. Speaking with SVG-TV News recently, Minister King says that the world is evolving, noting that nothing stays the same, and one of the critical components of the transformation of any society is through education. He said that the Ministry of Education will be taking steps to elevate the current education revolution to a high level.
And therefore, we can expect that the education system will not remain the same. We have seen virtually an education revolution over the last 21 years or so. And I have no doubt that we have to take this revolution to a different level. And if we are going to take it to a different level, meaning a higher level, then obviously we have to make changes to the education system. What I don't want, though, is for us to be making mere cosmetic changes to the system, because the truth is, even before the pandemic, there were a number of issues within the education system that receive a lot of critique from persons, educators, as well as members of the general public. And it is therefore necessary then that when we have such critique, that we examine them to see how best we can respond. And what has happened since COVID-19 pandemic is that these issues, these problems, if you like, these challenges within the education system, they have received a sharper focus coming out of the pandemic.
Minister King said that the work of the Ministry of Education is part of a big worldwide movement which is seeking to make a paradigm shift in education. And the upcoming National Symposium is a start in transforming the education system in SVG.
Every great epoch has experienced changes to the way how we do things. You look back at the Industrial Revolution and you see how that impacted on every aspect of our lives. There's no difference existing today. In fact, it is often said that we are now living in the fourth Industrial Revolution. Naturally, this one is providing enough evidence to suggest that things cannot be done as they used to be done before. And therefore, as I was indicating, we are part of this worldwide movement to bring about significant transformation in our education system.
As we continue with our coverage of the top performers in the 2022 CPEA, this evening we are highlighting Kayla Bob and Annabelle McMaster, who credit their success and to the encouragement and support given by their parents. Both girls landed a spot in the top 10 out of 1,714 students who sat this year's examination. Kayla, a student of the Kingstown Preparatory School, secured second place, and Annabelle of the Windsor Primary ranked 6th overall. Annabelle admits the preparation for the exam, which included extra lessons and practicing past papers, was overwhelming at times. She says during the difficult days, her mother Elizabeth encouraged her to stay committed to her studies.
For the preparation, I did a lot of revision and a lot of past papers, and my classmates and I, we went to classes in the Easter vacation at the school. Well, sometimes I felt overwhelmed about the work, but my mom would encourage me that it was only for a bit longer, and sometimes she would allow me to take short breaks in between. Well, she would tell me that I only have one shot at it, and it's only for a bit longer, and that I can do it. She would tell me that I have it in me to make it in the top 10.
Annabelle says she will be working towards a career in science and has her mind set on being an astronomical engineer. Meanwhile, for Kayla Bob, she says support from teachers, her family helped her to achieve success at the exam. Despite not being able to take the #1 spot, Kayla says she is satisfied with her performance.
Well, I went to extra classes at KIP Learning Institute and then Fitz Academy. I did lots of past papers, and I also had lots of help from my mommy and my auntie. I was excited because I know when I was going into the exam room that I would give it my all. I know I gave it my best, and I congratulate the person who came first. Mommy said she would do something big for me. I'm not sure, but I'm trying to fish it out of her.
Kayla's mother, Kijo Brown Etienne, tells our news team that Kayla has always been curious about learning, and her teachers and family have been fully supportive during her academic journey. She says Kayla's performance in the CPEA exams did not come as a surprise.
I knew Kayla had the potential. She just has this natural ability and this earning for learning. Like she's hungry for learning. So any chance that she gets, she would read a book or she would be looking at something that, like something new that she can learn something from. And I remember when Kayla was in kindergarten, well, in preschool rather, I would be reading books after books after books after books. Sometimes I would know these books by heart because I've been reading them so long and so much. But she kept that interest in reading and that curiosity. Her favorite question was, why? And sometimes I was open to it, but sometimes when you're busy and you hear, Mommy, why is this way, or why is that? But it's because she's curious, and she has been a consistently avid student since kindergarten. I can't say I'm surprised, but I thank God for her natural academic abilities.
Brown Etienne advises parents to be involved in all areas of their children's lives and not to focus solely on academics.
Parents, love your children. First and foremost, love your children and be supportive of them. Be actively involved in what they're doing, not just in school, but in everything, and just show your support. Know their potential. Don't push them too hard, but at the same time, you don't want them relaxing too much. So you want to encourage them so that they would always do their very best. Another thing that sometimes as parents we do that could be very disastrous is comparing our children to others. Please remember that your child is his or her own individual. He would learn at his or her own pace. All you have to do is identify your child's areas of strength and weaknesses and work on that. But good or bad, always show your child that you love them and you support them, and you would be amazed at the confidence that child would have just knowing that he or she has your support.
President of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union, Oswald Robinson, has commended the students, teachers and parents of the students of the School for Children with Special Needs in Georgetown for their remarkable performances at CPEA this year. 5 out of the 6 of the Georgetown School for Children with Special Needs and 2 of 3 from the Sunshine School for Children with Special Needs in Port Elizabeth, Beckway, were successful at the exams.
The Grenadines Teachers Union is always happy whenever students perform. Whatever your disability or you are a student, and based on the philosophy of the union, we believe in quality education, we believe in inclusiveness, and therefore, with reference to the students of special needs who have performed extremely well, we're very happy. We want to commend the staff, the principal, the students, the parents for their performances.
Robinson said that he's looking forward to the Ministry of Education putting things in place at the various secondary schools to help the students continue to excel.
We look forward that the school and the Ministry of Education now would put the necessary support mechanisms in place so that these students will continue to excel. It means that you must have staffing at the schools to cater for these special needs. And we know for sure the Ministry of Education will rise to the challenge and that they will do so. And we look forward that these students will continue to develop and to grow and to realize all the rights as every other student in secondary school.
Minister responsible for persons with disabilities, Orlando Brewster, is reminding the public that disability is not an inability, noting that the disabled community is often taken for granted, and this is something that he has been working hard to change. Brewster, who was speaking on the issue on the API's Morning Talk program, used the opportunity to praise the performance of Team SVG at the recently concluded Special Olympic Games in the U.S.
Responsibility for persons with disabilities. I'm really proud of their performance in the recent Special Olympics in the U.S. And, you know, disability is not inability. And the reason why I'm saying this is that, you know, many of these challenged persons, as you termed it, Candyman, they have some serious abilities, you know. We underestimate them at times, you know, and it is something that I won't do. You know, if they challenge you, it is a challenge, you know. And I've been working since I got into the ministry, especially on a piece of legislation that's crafted to improve the situation here in St. Vincent for those who are challenged or have some form of disability. It's called the Disability Act of 2022. It is in the final stage of drafting, and we would have a first readout to cabinet and so on pretty soon before we bring this to Parliament.
Minister Brewster also congratulated the students of the Georgetown and Beckway schools for children with special needs for being successful at this year's CPEA.
I must congratulate those who passed the CPEA as well, because we had a couple of them who wrote the CPEA and they were successful, you know, and it's really exciting for me as the minister to see that we are making leaps and bounds, you know, incorporating them into the normal stream, you know, whether in terms of the examinations and so on. But it's really a good feeling.
Speaking on the Disability Act, which is being finalized, Brewster said the new piece of legislation will help to improve the lives of persons in the disabled community, including in the area of education.
Make special arrangements for them, and that is because they're special, very special, and you know, they might be some may be a little bit slower in the learning process. So we have to work with them and make all the necessary arrangement for them to blossom and to see their full potential. But let me segue back a little bit to the Disability Act, because part and parcel of this Disability Act would help to deal with the educational aspect of persons with disability. In this act, we've incorporated the educational sector. We looked at the building codes, providing access. Yes. You know, we looked at employment. How do we incorporate those who are disabled into the workforce? Because from time to time, some of them, they're telling you point blank, I do not want any support. I prefer a work.
Agriculture and Fisheries Minister Soboto Caesar is encouraging young fishers to take their work seriously, especially in these times when the world is experiencing great economic challenges. The minister was speaking at a handing over ceremony in Fancy recently, where ice boxes and other fishing supplies were distributed to fishermen in the community.
To encourage particularly the young fishers in the community to take the work that they're doing seriously. Currently, we are witnessing on a global scale an increase in the price for food as we grapple with the resultant implications of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. We have direct international air access between St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the rest of the world, and we are seeing throughout the country, throughout the length and breadth of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, persons coming forward wanting to participate in establishing an export platform expansion initiative here in SVG. We, over the last 5 years, we have worked with several partners, international agencies, to ensure that currently St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we have the largest export platform for fish and other marine products in the Southern Caribbean.
Caesar said that his ministry is working hard and doing all it can so the fishers can have the adequate resources to meet international certification standards. He also said the ministry will be partnering with the Kingstown Cooperative Credit Union, the KCCU, to host a consultation with fishers in the area soon.
It's not an easy job, and recognizing that we want to do everything to ensure that our fishermen in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that you have the safety gears,
you are able to take ice out to sea so that you can ensure that you can meet international certification standards. We are going to have a consultation in Fancy, and the intention is to have it in one location, so the possibility exists that we may come to Fancy first and go to Owe and then to Sandy Bay, and we are going to do that jointly with the Kingston Cooperative Credit Union. We don't want for persons to say that this is something only for persons in and around Kingstown, and we want for the information to be out there. I have spoken with the technicians in the fisheries department, and they are going to work with KCCU to bring the necessary forms that you would have to fill out so that you can actively participate in this program.
On Tuesday this week, the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, ICA, hosted its annual accountability seminar at the Kingstown Cooperative Credit Union conference room. Speaking at the opening ceremony, ICA's technical specialist, Michael Dalton, said the seminar is an important component in the institutional culture of accountability to those who the Institute provides services for. Dalton made a presentation also on the 2018 annual report titled ICA's Contribution to the Development of Agriculture and Rural Life in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Provides the Institute with an opportunity to report to stakeholders on our activities in the country in support of the development of agriculture and rural life. The seminar is an important component of the institutional culture of accountability to those for whom we provide our services, that is to say, national authorities and other stakeholder organizations, groups, and individuals in the agricultural sector. ICA, as an international development institution, financed mainly with quota resources from its member states, is limited in its financial capacity to respond to and support all of the demands of our clients. We strive, therefore, to focus our attention and efforts to effectively addressing those demands which we are ideally positioned to address, and to work in partnership with like-minded institutions to ensure meaningful impact and sustainability of the results of our interventions.
Also addressing the seminar was Minister of Agriculture Suboto Caesar, who spoke on some of the challenges facing the agriculture sector. Minister Caesar said that countries around the world are facing rapid increases in food prices, and it is strange that the local farmers are not benefiting from such increases. Caesar said government will be publishing a recommended price list for produce, which he hopes will be of benefit to the farmers.
I love the traffickers of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They're very hard working. They have assisted in the development of the country, and they will continue to assist. We don't want anybody to rob the traffickers. We don't want anybody to rob the farmers. But if, as a government, if we don't intervene to sensitize the farmer as to the true impact that this global inflation is having on his cost of production, he will still be selling his plantains for 50 cents per pound, because in the trafficker's head, that is what I usually pay around this time of the year. But I want to send a clear message today to all the buyers of food for export that very soon we will be publishing a recommended price list in our love for the farmers of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are not going to leave the farmers to speculate, to come up with a price for themselves, because in the ministry, our technicians have calculated and can calculate the price. And when you add the factor of the inflation, you add it on.
Speaking on getting more youth involved in agriculture, Minister Caesar said there is need for mentorship programs in the sector.
Encourage all the stakeholders in the room to begin to groom the next generation of leaders. Leadership is very important. And in every single community in this country, there are excellent stakeholders in agriculture, in fisheries, in forestry, in different spheres of life. But there is a need for a national mentorship program, not necessarily done in a formalistic way through an organization, but if each good farmer, is a good banana farmer, a good melon farmer, if you can take a younger farmer under your wings and help them, we will be able to create a sustainable platform in this country for many, many generations to come.
More than a dozen individuals who are residing in properties at the entrance to the Edinburgh Main Road are set to be relocated as part of government's plans to upgrade the Lower Kingstown area. This was revealed by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves while speaking on NBC's face-to-face program yesterday. PM Gonsalves says the Ministry of National Mobilization and Informal Settlements is in the process of assessing 13 persons who are to receive houses from government.
I had Orlando Brewster get his team to assess the people there. There are 13 individuals there in those places who in the informal settlement. And I'm making arrangements for houses to be built for them. I'm moving them because we're going to develop. All that is part of the urban development.
The Rose Place area is set to undergo a major transformation under the government's Kingstown Port Modernization Project. Residents were moved earlier this year to the Lomans Bay, and the next phase includes the relocation of fishers, small shops and storage sheds from the area.